Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Feazell, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge television, radio, and podcast talk show. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, beginning at 2 p.m. on the Eastern time zone, as I get to ride home with you in the afternoon. You're the reason we do what we do. Continue sending email is awesome. Donna@donnasedge.com, Donna@donnasedge.com. You can find us on television up in North Alabama, close to Huntsville, channel 182 on Charter Communications. You can also find us on Abundant Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. The reason we're world known is because of this guy right here. His name is Rob Patz, and he is the owner, the chief cook, the bottle washer. He does everything for Abundant Television. Rob, how are you doing, my friend?
I am awesome. It is so good to be with you and spend part of my day with Donna and getting to do the fun things that we always do together.
Oh, it's always so much fun. But you know something, being on Abundance Television has actually brought the nation and even a few folks out of the country, because I get email now that I never got before, and still you threw me into Abundance Television. You remember me saying, are you sure you want to do that, Rob?
Yes, and I knew right away we needed Donna to be part of our team, and we just celebrated. Can you believe this, Donna? We just celebrated 4 years on the air.
That's amazing. It's been an amazing 4 years because you guys have grown like gangbusters.
And continue to grow. And this past weekend, you mentioned Roku. This past weekend, we were a featured station where they put us on as a free preview. This, before you downloaded it, you could watch it for free, which were free anyway, but it's a way to get it in front of a whole bunch of people.
Because the audience has really grown like gangbusters. And I've laughed with you about this. I knew we were really doing something because this is when Saban was still a coach at Alabama. And so I had some folks in California and some folks in Texas send me email telling me, like I had anything to do with Saban, telling me, this is when I was living in Alabama, keep Saban out of our state, because he was gathering some of their players from those dates. And that's when I told you, I said, Rob, you're growing. I mean, this is crazy.
So, you know, the interesting thing too, talking about Alabama, did you see that one of the guys running for governor, his last name is Coach?
Yeah. Tuberville. Yeah.
Well, it's to me. Yes. Well, Tommy Tuberville, of course, he, now is that your husband who likes Auburn? No. Oh, he would kill you if he heard you say that. I know. I was being
I wouldn't have to keep the forces away from Phil to you just for you saying that. No, I'm the Auburn fan. I got
so you remember Tommy then? Yes,
I definitely do. And so he was state senator. And so I kind of wish he'd stayed there, because of the things he's doing. But, President Trump put his thumb of approval on Tuberville being the governor. And but now I don't think it's going to be real easy for him, because I'm telling you, Doug Jones is the Democrat who won last night, and it's not going to be that easy, because I'm going to tell you what, he knows how to campaign too, and I've talked to him. I let everybody on my show, whether I agree with them or not, and they get a fair shot. I mean, I don't mess with people, and you don't either, and there's no point in that. You just got to get the information out there, just like you always done. And you get the information out there, stop arguing, stop going nuts, and just, let people listen to your guest.
Oh, completely.
Spit them out.
That is awesome. And that is a great way to be. So how's the garden doing?
It's going great, Rob. I'm just telling you what, I'm loving it. Thanks to Amazon. Amazon is one of our sponsors, and also Lowe's is one of our sponsors, and they have just like stepped up. And then I've got a coffee cup company right here in Abbeville, South Carolina, and I'm just going to tell you, they're awesome. So I actually went to talk to them just to get free coffee grounds. And yeah, because coffee grounds are absolutely awesome for your garden. And, and Phil told me about this a long time ago. Now, he's not necessarily the gardener, or he wasn't at that time. Now he is. Now he knows more about it than I do. But so I go to Ziggy's and I said, I'd like to have your coffee grounds. And he looks at me funny. And I said, yeah, I host a talk show. And he went, wait, you're here, right? And I said, yeah, I'm right here in Abbeville. And he said, well, what do you want in return? And I said, I just want your coffee grounds. I said, I will tell people about you. So they turned into a sponsor. So it's working. It's absolutely working, because the first time I went, he said, you can come every 2 weeks and I'll give you a couple of bags, like big bags, trash bags. And I said, okay. And so last week when I came in, he goes like this. And I said, what's that for? Because it's just old Donna walking in, And he said, you got 4 bags now. And I said, I was just here last week. So your business is growing? And he said, it is. So that's what it's all about.
That's
like
awesome.
when you and I have sponsors, we don't necessarily talk about, this car is for sale for whatever $1,000. We talk about the meat of it and the person who owns the business and what they do in the community.
Oh, completely. Tell me though, I'm now curious, what does coffee grounds do for your garden?
Oh man, they're just like the ultimate. But now let me tell you something I learned the hard way. Old Donna here has to learn things the hard way. So when I first started using coffee grounds, I was just putting coffee grounds all around anything, because they're full of acid and they're just full of everything. Even though they're used, they still have medicinal properties in them. And not only keeping me awake every single day, like with 2 pots a day, but and Phil too. But if you put coffee grounds directly on the plant, you're going to kill it. It's going to be overdrive. I mean, it's just there, So what you have to do is mix it. You have to mix it in with the soil and the compost. And every once in a while around your trees, you might want to put some, but put it along the outside, not right up at the trunk. And so there's ways that, it works, but you got to do it the right way.
Isn't that interesting? I had heard about that, but I did not know. So see, now I've learned something here on Donna's Edge this morning.
Well, folks say, well, Donna, you can have, when I get the email, a lot of those emails say, well, Donna, you got sponsors who are helping you with it and all this kind of stuff. And I'm going, are you kidding me? I virtually have no money in it. I mean, because we don't throw anything away. Everything's compost.
Interesting.
And the chickens, we recycle them in more ways than you know. Did you know this? Okay, so, and this is something I learned from some of my preppers. I love my preppers. I'm just telling you, these are the smartest people on earth. So one of my preppers asked me, he said, are you throwing away eggshells? And I said, yeah. And he said, dummy, you don't do that. And I said, they're eggshells. It takes them forever to compost. And he said, well, what you do is you dry them in the oven, and then you put them in a blender, like a Vitamix. There's got to be a high-powered blender. After they've been in the oven, they're real crinkly-like, and you turn them into a powder. And that means everything to tomatoes. Tomatoes love you forever and ever if you will give them some powdered eggshell, because it's full of calcium.
I did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, it's kind of interesting. The only problem with something like that is that takes a lot of work.
No,
you're talking about putting eggshells in an oven.
Yeah.
Who's time for that?
Yeah. Well, see, I let them pile up. I mean, they'll pile up in a big bag, and then because we eat a lot of eggs here, you can imagine, and so we let it pile up, and then I just kind of crush them down. You got to wash them, because I don't wash the eggs until I'm ready to use them anyway. There's a little film around that egg, and it will last years. I'm just telling you. It will last a very, very long time if you don't wash them. Now, what you get from the grocery store, if they've been washed. That's why when you buy grocery store eggs, you better hurry up and use them up within a couple of weeks or so. But if you go to your local farmer's market and you buy them from your old buddy, the farmer, they're going to last a lot longer.
Interesting. I did not know this. See, I'm learning all kinds of, but I'm a city boy. So this was not a part of my life. So,
well, I'm a country girl. So this is where the country boy and the city mouse the country girl and the city mouse get together. I got that. And so but I'll have to tell you this, I was city for a while. So my corporate friends are like, we didn't know you were a farmer. I mean, it was just
So what kind of tomatoes are you raising this year?
Everything. I've got 10 different varieties. And what you raise yourself now, and I'll have to tell you, there are people in New York City who have gardens. Yep. If they're fortunate enough to have the roof of downtown Manhattan, a lot of your restaurants have gardens up on the top level of the building. And that way they get farm fresh. And so it's different than buying it from the grocery store. It really is. I used to think my grandmother was so snooty about that. She would say, I never buy a tomato from a grocery store, and I never buy eggs from the grocery store. And I'd be going, making fun how you do that. Mm-hmm. The woman was correct. She knew what she was talking about.
Oh, farm fresh picked tomatoes. In my opinion, there is nothing better. That is the best sandwich you can have any day of the week.
It's like the ultimate. So when we first moved here to South Carolina, one of the first questions out of my mouth, of course, is about food, because when you're living in Alabama, you use Bama mayonnaise on your tomato sandwich, and lots of pepper and salt and all that. So the first question out of my mouth was, it was a neighbor. I said, "What kind of mayonnaise do you use?"
What kind do they use?
She said, "Girl, it's got to be Duke's."
Duke's. I love Duke's. Actually, in my refrigerator at home right now is a bottle of Duke's. I use, and I know all my Alabama friends are going to be upset with me, but Duke's mayo is
wrong. When you go to Alabama, use Bama.
There you go. That's true.
So do whatever they do in Rome. But it's good. And I don't really like mayonnaise. But I'll tell you what, I'll pile it on a tomato and a banana sandwich. You
put tomatoes and bananas together?
No. I'll have I'm like Elvis here. I'm from the South. So Elvis, he lived off of believe it or not, he could have his option of a steak or a banana sandwich. He chose the banana sandwich. So he liked banana sandwich, just crammed full of peanut butter and tons of mayonnaise. I don't know what kind of mayonnaise he used. So, but it was something they probably got in his neck of the woods. But it's just, I don't know. I just pile it, like when I have my banana sandwich, it's got to have a lot of mayonnaise on it. I want it where it's squishing out. And same thing with my tomato sandwich. But no, otherwise, I can't stand mayonnaise.
On a tomato sandwich, you have to have a good amount of mayonnaise on there. The ratio has to be perfect. Otherwise, the sandwich just doesn't taste good.
No, and it's got to be good bread too.
Oh yeah, yes.
This is one place where I don't splurge is the bread. Now you know me, I'm a tightwad. I don't spend money unless I have to. Everything I say, or somebody asks me a question about, I'll say, how much is that going to cost me? It's always my middle. It's a middle name, but I will splurge when it comes to mayonnaise and certain things. So there you go.
And bread too.
Oh, my bread. Hey, Rob, we've got to go into a commercial break so we can pay for this. We'll be right back in just a few minutes. Y'all hang in there.
Twin City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you.
Finding the right home isn't just about bedrooms and square footage. It's about comfort, security, and the feeling you get the moment you walk through the door. That's why so many families across Greenwood and the Lakelands area trust Jenny Ferguson with Keller Williams. And I'll tell you from personal experience, Jenny was my realtor, and she truly cares about her clients. Jenny takes the time to listen, to understand what matters most, and to guide you every step of the way, whether you're buying your first home, upgrading, or ready to sell. Because this isn't just a transaction, it's your life. With local knowledge, personal care, and a commitment to getting it right, Jenny Ferguson makes the process simple and even enjoyable. So if you're thinking about buying or selling, now's the time to make your move. Call Jenny Ferguson with Keller Williams in Greenwood today and take the next step toward a place you'll truly love coming home to. Good afternoon, Sunshine. Medical Minute brought to you by Dr. Chuck with Lakeland's Chiropractic, where an ounce of prevention is worth what? A pound of cure. So what is the Beamer? Okay, now the Beamer uses very gentle pulsed electromagnetic signals. This will stimulate healthy muscles and it supports the temporary blood flow. Now let's talk Beamer and circulation support. Now the Beamer gently supports natural circulation in healthy muscles. Now that's what I call natural health. Thank you so much for watching your Medical Minute, brought to you by Dr. Chuck. You know who he's with. He's with Lakeland's Chiropractic, where an ounce of prevention is worth what? A pound of cure. I hope you have a super duper awesome rest of the afternoon. You take care. Shine your style at Kiss My Glass right here in the Anderson Mall. There's a place where style meets sparkle. At Kiss My Glass, every piece is handcrafted, custom designed, and made to shine just like you. Owner Beth Gibson brings creativity to life with stunning custom tumblers, gifts, and one-of-a-kind pieces you won't find anywhere else. Look for the perfect gift or something uniquely you, from bold and glamorous to simple and elegant. There's something for every style, so stop by, get inspired, and leave with something unforgettable. Kiss My Glass inside the Anderson Mall, Anderson, South Carolina, where your sparkle begins. Be sure to check out Kiss My Glass on Facebook for updates and specials and gift ideas.
Because of your overwhelming support, our $14.88 MyPillow has been one of the biggest sales in MyPillow history. I couldn't think of a better way to say thank you than to extend our wholesale pricing through Christmas. Get a classic standard MyPillow for only $14.88. Upgrade to a queen size, just $18.88. King size, only $1 more. Get my body pillows for only $29.88. And ready? Multi-use MyPillows, only $9.88. It's perfect time to stock up for Christmas gifts for everyone on your list. Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our wholesale pricing, including my classic standard MyPillows, only $14.88. But that's not all. I'm so confident you're going to love our classic MyPillows that I'm going to extend my 60-day money-back guarantee until March 1st, 2025. Plus, orders over $75 ship absolutely free.
Okay,
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring, but the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer.
Yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community College.
My name is Donna, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Television, Radio, and Podcast Talk Show. Thank you so much for watching us every day, Monday through Friday, beginning at 2 p.m. on the Eastern Time Zones. I get to ride home with you in the afternoon. I've got my friend Rob Patz with me right now. You never know where we're going to go in a show. How did we start talking about banana and tomato sandwiches?
I don't know, but we got there.
Yeah,
we did. So that was it. So, hey, Don, I want to ask you a question. I know I'm turning the tables here, but in your time in broadcasting, did you ever think, like when early on, did you ever think podcasting was going to become so popular?
No, because this was like 21 years ago.
Yeah.
And so,
yeah.
I remember saying, "What's podcast?" And I remember a friend saying, maybe you, saying, "You need to start doing podcasts." You've always come to my aid like for years. And so they may have been you who said that. But I was like, well, what's a podcast? And
and for a lot of people, like you said, 21 years ago, it's about that long that we started hearing and seeing podcasts on the scene. And I remember it was awful. I mean, it was hard to get people. It was hard to get them. Because basically, if you remember, and I know you have radio background too, we used to call it audio on demand. Do you remember that? Was what it was called. It wasn't podcasting.
We were already doing it, just wasn't called the fancy thing.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's the future. Absolutely. I think exactly what you're doing with Abundance Television, I'm glad you got ahead of that game. The first one.
Yeah. Hey, this is a cool study. There's a cool study out. It was not done by Roku, but Roku now, for the first time in history, video consumption was no longer terrestrial television, but video via a app like Roku or Amazon Fire or Apple TV. Any of those surpassed terrestrial, or it surpassed terrestrial, it surpassed satellite, it surpassed cable, and first time in history that more people consumed their TV via an app than via all of those three combined.
Oh, I love it. I'm a huge Andy Griffith fan. I can quote the shows. It's pitiful. I know it's a shameful life. But anyway, what I like about it is I can watch it whenever I want to. I don't have to wait until it's on some network somewhere, where I've got to do it on their time. And I think that's what people like. They like freedom of Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and your show because it's there. I mean, just at your convenience, not the convenience of the network.
And I think the reality too is that a lot of people, their schedule has changed so much. And what you mentioned is so true. They may work a different schedule, or they may have kids at home where they've got to take them to soccer practice where they don't have time, but they can come back and watch it on demand. And I think that's huge. I think we're going to see even more of that in the next 5 years.
Well, I think the networks are suffering right now, and I don't know that it necessarily has anything to do with that. I think people are just a little bit turned off at what their core values are. The core values don't seem to line up with the rest of us. I'm boots on the ground, old Donna Feazell, so I walk around, and so I have my thoughts, and I'm not there with everyday people. We all say the same thing, and we're tired of having information shoved down our throats. We like to be able to watch television as we want to, such as television, so that you can just, at my time and at my pace. I got a little bit about that.
And I love what you said too about the fact that you're helping to affect the economy locally when you have sponsors like the coffee place.
Mm-hmm. And I love him. I'm going to tell you what, but it's all about, because when I wanted to talk to him, it had nothing to do with me. I said, it'll be my way of promoting you. Yep. And so everybody's going to listen when you say that, not just, I want to sell you an ad. I mean, nothing like that. Everybody's going to listen when you got to study it. You need to study the company a little bit, know what they're a little bit about. And so Phil said, well, it'd be great. Phil comes up with the idea. So Phil said, wouldn't it be great if you could have like a coffee shop that would provide you with coffee rounds? And I'm like, my eye out like this big. Like, then it's what he does is he feeds me an idea. Then my mind explodes, kind of like you and Kristen.
Yep. Yeah, we have that definitely happens in different areas of our life. We'll like play off each other. I think that's when God brings people together. He does that. He facilitates that, and especially people that like you guys and like us that are entrepreneurs by their DNA. Their nature is to be their mind always working and thinking.
How old were you when you started your first business?
When I started my first business, that was a legal business. I was 19, going to be 20. I started a company, and I always forget about this, which is funny because people think of me as being a media guy. Mm-hmm. In a way it was. I think I was 20 years old, and we started selling computers. I found a guy that was willing to build computers for me, and then I would turn around and sell them to businesses. Mm-hmm. So that was my first real legitimate, had a real name, had all the tax stuff and everything. Prior to that, like, I sold cars. My dad owned a car dealership, so he would let me buy cars through the auction and then sell through his dealership. But that wasn't really a business because it was still his, thing. In high school, in 8th grade in high school, I sold candy because our school.
Yeah, right there.
Huh?
That's where I was getting.
Yes. So like in 8th, 9th grade, our high school had a no sugar policy. And so I saw a need, and I would bring bags of candy and Jolly Ranchers. Actually, Jolly Ranchers helped me. This is so funny. Jolly Ranchers helped me be able to golf. My family had a membership at a local golf course there in Washington and just outside Seattle. And one of the things that it allowed me was the opportunity to be able to golf whenever I wanted to, even though we were members, there was still a fee to play. And so that was it. And so I'd play 3-4 times a week just because I loved it. Now my first car was given to me, so I didn't have to worry about that. But then I started buying like cars that were at auction.
Mm-hmm.
A friend of mine would help me, and we'd put together Volkswagen Rabbits because they were cheap to put together. So if they had been in an accident, you could fix them really inexpensively. Mm-hmm. So we did stuff like that and then had them painted and put them back together. And so, yeah, I was probably my first real thing that I did that I sold that I felt like, oh, this is incredible. I was 6 going on 7 years old. Mm-hmm. And I would hold garage sales weekly on my mom and dad's, the end of their driveway, because my parents would eat out a lot during the week. And so in the olden days, as I'd like to tell young people, in the olden days, a lot of these restaurants would give the kids color crayons, all that kind of stuff. So I would keep all that because I didn't play with that stuff. I had like 18 of them. And so I would go and sit down with a card table at the end of our driveway, and I would sell them to the other kids in the neighborhood. So technically, if you want a company, that would not be it, because that was, just me hustling. But my first hustle, I was like 6.
That's where I was going. But I knew as a very young age, and I think that's really important. We let the kids do that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, completely. I foster. I get a great chance now to mentor young people that are either in college or just out of college, and it's one of the exciting things that I get to do because it's fun to speak into their life and speak what it means to be an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm. And it's important that we are.
Oh, yeah.
I started out with love beads. And so when Dad bought the first package, and man, I sold love beads like crazy. And this was like in the 70s. And so I ran out of beads. And I said, Dad, I need you to buy me some more love beads. And he goes, where's your money at from the sale of your love beads? And I said, I'm going to buy clothes with that. And he said, no, you're not. He said, you're going to sink that right back into your business again. So, of course, he bought me some clothes and stuff. But anyway, I learned that really fast. You got an inventory. You got to make sure you got the product so that your folks that you're selling to are going to be able to have, the product. So that's what it's all about. Rob, about 1 minute left in this segment. What do you want to tell everybody before we leave?
Man, we appreciate each and every one of you that watch on Abundant TV. And we appreciate Donna, of course. She is a rock and an anchor part of what we do every day on Abundant TV. But here's the thing I want to challenge you as we go into summer, is do something different in your life. Just take that one thing and go, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go for a walk. If you're not into walking, I'm going to read a book. If you're not a reader. But just your challenge this summer, for me at least, is do something you haven't done before, because those are when you have amazingly fun times. And trust me, Chris and I have been doing that once a month, and we just are having a blast.
Absolutely. Well, I know you're about to leave to go on a trip, and I hope you have an awesome, awesome time there. I know you will. Oh,
thank you, Donna.
And thank you guys so much for watching the show. Definitely appreciate that. Continue sending email. Phil can tell you it just makes my day when I get an email from you. Donna@donnasedge.com. Donna@donnasedge.com. Rob, as always, thank you so much for being on the show. Tell Kristen hi for me, okay?
I sure will.
And you guys take care. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.